The South Caucasus is just enjoying calmness and peace and security after a 3-decade-long conflict and especially Armenian occupation of Karabakh. But there is still question mark. Is peace near or far, which is in the pipeline, and especially waiting for Armenia to sign the long-awaited peace paper? Today on Baku Network, we're going to discuss and put some key issues in the limelight and preventing the fresh peace agreement from being signed soon. And our guest is Professor Peter Tase, an expert in South Caucasus. Welcome, Peter.
Greetings from Asuncion, Republic of Paraguay, distinguished friends in Baku, and greetings to your audience as well. It's a pleasure.
Thank you so much. As you know, amid growing opposition discontent with the government in Armenia, internal tensions continue, and this is the topic that we are going to discuss today: Armenia-Azerbaijan peace agreement that is still waiting. And some opposition groups, although not overtly, but still criticize Nikol Pashinyan and condemn his rule under the guise of the church's and clergy's influence. Not long ago, post by the Armenian Prime Minister about church representative failing to properly fulfill their duties and the poor condition of churches stirred controversy. But in fact, the inappropriate language he allegedly used in that post reportedly directed the Catholics of all Armenians Garegan II, sparked a serious public debate honestly. And our question is, what do you think these developments suggest about possible future events?
Well, thank you for this opportunity once again. I have to emphasize once that the President of the Republic of Azerbaijan, His Excellency Mr. Ilham Aliyev, has delivered outstanding statecraft and high-level diplomatic accomplishments in the world stage. Thanks to his vision and admirable leadership, we have seen peace and stability in the Southern Caucasus, and the Republic of Azerbaijan has recovered 100% of its sovereign territory that has been recognized by the international community and the United Nations. On the other hand, we have a Republic of Armenia that is ruled by autocrats, corrupt and very corrupt and incompetent leadership, such as Nikol Pashinyan and his cronies, that are only focused to amass personal fortunes and collect personal wealth at the detriment of their own countrymen. Having this in mind, on the other, on another side, we have the Armenian Church that is not becoming cohesive nor collaborative when it comes to establishing peace and stability in the Southern Caucasus and promoting the bilateral peace agreement between Armenia and Azerbaijan. The Armenian Church has been very divisive, has encouraged hate, division, and Turkophobic statements throughout its recent history. And these campaigns, these aggressive campaigns against the Turkic nations in the Southern Caucasus, has encouraged violence and hate, as well as has prohibited and obstructed the constructive campaigns that are led by the diplomacy of Azerbaijan to preserve and strengthen peace in the Southern Caucasus.
Okay. I want to mention one more thing, especially about Pashinyan's stance. Today we see Pashinyan is often portrayed in Europe as a pragmatic leader, particularly by groups with democratic leanings. However, this image doesn't always align with the perception within Armenia, especially at home in Armenia. Fluctuating politics and its inconsistent approach to peace negotiations, which we've seen it a long time ago, since 5 years we've seen it in Pashinyan's stance, and often taking one step forward and 2 steps back. And it has deepened skepticism about the Prime Minister's ability to make and implement decisive choices. So how do you view Pashinyan as a leader? Do you believe he has the capacity to open a new chapter, one free of conflict, let's say, between Armenia and Azerbaijan?
Democratic institutions in Armenia have significantly deteriorated under the leadership of Nikol Pashinyan. Nikol Pashinyan has been very influential and has invested large amounts of money to hire Anders Fogh Rasmussen, the former Secretary General of the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, and other lobbying companies in Brussels and other capitals of Europe to help polish and clean up his mess. The image that has been developed over the last few years due to his poor leadership skills and autocratic mechanism that has been installed in Yerevan. Nikol Pashinyan must resign, and he should apologize to his own countrymen, to the Armenian people, for doing so much damage and for ruining the Armenian economy. We have to emphasize that Nikol Pashinyan is also engaged in the illegal trade of nuclear weapons and nuclear materials throughout Eurasia, as well as he is a threat to the European Union countries due to the fact that Armenia is the main supplier of cocaine and heroin that comes from Central Asia. The European Parliament and European Commission fail to understand this danger that is coming from Armenia. And when experts and scholars like us come out loudly and speak the truth, we receive threats and we receive abominations from everywhere. So there is a fact that the Armenian leadership, led by Nikol Pashinyan, are a true threat and menace to the European democracy and European regional security.
The thing is that Pashinyan is not much liked in the country by the opposition. That's a little bit, arises a question. So from one side, that is, the person is supported by the European leaders, European politicians, and on the other hand, he's really now facing a big pressure. But this is another story. Let's say earlier I spoke about the opposition's role in fueling domestic tensions. So yet the reality is that the opposition currently lacks the strength and legitimacy to act as a serious political force in the country. And on the one hand, the church retains the public trust, but its political competences is virtually non-existent, let's say. And in this context, the only real threat appears to come from outside, let's say, particularly from the Kremlin, because Russia backs the opposition side and partially the church, which continues to support the former ruling clan and sees Pashinyan as an undesirable political figure. We know it. So could Russia, under the circumstances, revive Armenia's otherwise, defunct position by aligning with pro-clan or church-based forces, and in doing so, create a new flashpoint for conflict in the region? What do you think about this?
Yeah, that's a very good observation. That is an excellent observation. I believe Russia is deeply rooted in the economy and in all spheres of the Armenian society. That does not accept its influence in the Armenian church, as well as established its own variations of Armenian church within Armenia. And this does not help in the cause of preserving peace and stability in the Southern Caucasus. Russia has always served as a sickle when it comes to preserving regional stability in the Southern Caucasus and in the eastern flanks of Europe. The Armenian opposition party must be vigilant, and they should be more proactive and defend the national security of Armenia by advocating openly and wholeheartedly a peace agreement with the Republic of Azerbaijan. Every day that we see this lingering situation among both countries is a lost opportunity for economic growth, prosperity, and well-being for the people of Armenia and for the people of Azerbaijan. This is the reason why I started my statement today by commending the tremendous leadership of President Ilham Aliyev, because he has shown over and over again genuine genuine task of statecraft and has used all of the arsenal of diplomacy to preserve peace and stability within Azerbaijan, in the region of the Southern Caucasus, and throughout Eurasia, unlike any other leader in Eurasia.
All right. So speaking of Russia, in my previous question, I would like to recall a recent and highly controversial statement made by Vladimir Medinsky, as you know, a senior official in the Russian presidential administration regarding Karabakh. So he referred to Karabakh incorrectly as a disputed territory, as you know. Regardless of the factual inaccuracy, does such a statement send dangerous signals about Russia's future intentions in the region? And I would like you to talk largely about this, as it's a very important issue at the moment in the South Caucasus region.
Certainly, the Russian authorities and members of Putin's circle, they always are testing waters by using provocative statements in their strategic communication tactics. Mostly after the invasion of Ukraine, we have observed a high level of intensity in their strategic communication practice and provocations, not only by words, but also by engaging in subversive activities and limited warfare operations. This does not help Russia in the international stage, nor it helps their economy as well as their people's well-being. The presidential advisor coming out openly and offending the people of Azerbaijan with these types of provocative statements is an abhorrent act of provocation, and this individual must apologize to the people of Azerbaijan.
Okay, I have a final question, Peter. I want to get back to the Armenia-Azerbaijan peace agreement again. This is a very crucial question. You answered all the questions. You give a clear answer to all of these things. But finally, what you think about the peace agreement? Is this possible for this year? Let's say, how do you see the prospects on the peace, on the way to the peace, to achieve between Armenia and Azerbaijan amidst the ongoing tensions in Armenia, let's take this, and on the other hand, the support from the other external supports, let's say, to the opposition and the churches in Armenia, let's say. So do you think this is manageable for Armenia to approach to the peace agreement and to clinch a deal on this long-awaited important paper which guarantees this peace and security for this region?
The strengthening of the opposition parties in Armenia, their ability to foster democratic elections within their own party system goes hand in hand with achieving a peace agreement with Azerbaijan. And the European Union, as well as Washington, have failed to understand the decaying democratic institutions inside Armenia. By not handling and not tackling accordingly the endemic problems within the so-called democratic institutions of Armenia, is becoming a larger and a larger problem. The fact that the issue of accomplishing a peace agreement with Azerbaijan. The European Union must exert all of its forces and all of its power to the Armenian leadership in order for Armenia to become more transparent, more proactive, and become a highly developed state, and not what it is right now, a failed state.
Peter, excuse me, I would like to ask you a small question regarding Pashinyan's promise about the constitution change, which is important. You know, we have some articles that put forward for Armenia, which is a commitment for Armenia to fulfill it. But Armenia is still, dragging at the time. But what do you think about the constitutional change? Now Armenia accepts it and says that that's going to take this and change the constitution accordingly as the peace agreement goes through this one. And there are also other commitments that the Armenia needs to do it. So what do you think about this? Armenia is going to keep the promise or not? So given these all situations.
I do not believe that in the feasible future we are going to have a constitutional change nor any other legislative reforms within the Republic of Armenia. The Armenian leadership has proved to be feckless, untrustworthy, and has proved to be not loyal to the international community, despite the fact that the European Union.
By the way, Nikol Pashinyan also wants the OC Minsk group to stand in the country, to still stand and to exist, let's say, but it's basically not functional right now. But Pashinyan wants it to remain at the moment, which also, it just loses the credibility on what Pashinyan is promising about the peace, and says that he's for the peace, it stands by the peace, but on the other hand it's not doing what is necessary right now. This is what I want to also to put along with this question, so you, within your answers, you can also highlight this.
Well, yeah, the OSCE Minsk group is a dinosaur in the international political spectrum. I do not believe that this so-called structure is relevant. It is not relevant at all and has caused more harm and damage than good. The OSCE Minsk group was the source of disinforming the former president, or the incumbent president of Poland, who went to visit some of the villages nearby the border between Azerbaijan and Armenia, and started talking rubbish and offending the hardworking
European
people
observing
of
groups, that what they do we don't know yet.
Yes, absolutely. So the OSCE Minsk group must vanish, must be disassembled, must be torn down, because it's caused more damage than good.
Peter, thank you for taking your time and join us, and for sharing your insights. We appreciate it. And today on Baku Network we had a guest, Peter Tase, expert on South Caucasus. We discussed about the Azerbaijan-Armenia peace agreement, which is in the pipeline right now, but we're still, is awaited to be signed soon. Thank you for watching us. See you later.